So good morning, everyone, and just give 1 minute. Actually, where is about to join. Okay, I think Venu will take some time to join. So yeah. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining today's SMS. I think it's a continuous journey that we are having day after day, month after month, which is helping us to deepen our knowledge and also look at the perspective from different angles. So today we have with us see Anthony Sebastian. He's from the wonderful city of Kochi. So he's the author of GST Mantras, a book for all India CA Inter students. Okay, and I think if you read the book, it's a very simplified GST that we can read in the book. So after qualifying, he's worked with ENY and then he started his own individual practice in the year 2015. So almost a decade of practice is done. He's the founder of CA Mantra and he's also a trainer at various professional institutes. So with this brief background, I would like to hand over the mic to CA Inter Sebastian for taking the thing forward. Anthony, over to you for the discussion.
For the entire SMS community. And I'm very much privileged to take this session for the SMS. Moreover, that this will be a learning session for me in this 1 hour from you all. I'm sorry, like my camera is not working. There is some technical issue right
No,
now.
that is not it. That's not it. Yeah.
All right. So today's discussion is section 29 of the GST, that is cancellation of the registration. Like this will be the topics that will be covered, like 29.1 cancellation by proper officer, registered person, legal heirs, application for cancellation of registration, the corresponding rule. 29.2, that is suo motu cancellation by the proper officer, and the corresponding rule number 21, additional situations where the cancellation shall be done. 21A, that is suspension of the registration, read with the proviso first and second proviso of 29.1 and 29.2. 29.3, cancellation shall not affect the liability to pay the tax. 29.4 is deemed cancellation. And 29.5, the assessee should reverse the ITC, the corresponding ITC of the capital goods of the transaction value, whichever is higher. Rule number 22 relating to the cancellation of the registration, and circular 96 relating to the death, and 16.5. 16.6, it is like the new ITC provision and the related case laws. Circumstances where registration is liable to be cancelled is like 29.1 is a starting section where circumstances is suo motu by the proper officer or an application submitted by the registered person or its legal heirs in case of death of such person. A circular has been released, that is circular number 96, to provide clarity regarding the cancellation of registration in case of death of a proprietor. That is, then next is 29.2, that is circumstances where the proper officer shall cancel the registration. So moving on to the situation of 29.1, that is circumstance where registration is liable to be cancelled suo motu by proper officer or by the registered person are as follows. Like the proper officer may either on his own motion or an application filed by the registered person RG 16 or by his legal heirs in case of death of such person cancel the registration in such manner as may be prescribed having regard to the circumstances. There are three cases specified, three clauses specified over here. 21.9A, 29.1A is like the business is discontinued or transferred fully in case of like amalgamation, merger, some reasons like that. For any reason, including death of the proprietor, amalgamated with other legal entity, demerged. In this case, the PAN will get like a change to another PAN. So definitely, in this case, cancellation should be applied for the transfer company. 21B, 29.1B, and then when there is a change in constitution, like from LLP to company, firm to company, like that, so the transfer company should GST should be cancelled. 29.1C, the taxable person is no longer liable to be get registered. The aggregate turnover falls below 10, 20, or 40 lakhs as the case may be, or mandatory registration is not required, or he wishes to like voluntarily submit the cancellation. So in this case, what is being said is like there is a proviso saying that provided that during the pendency of the proceedings, that is during the cancellation proceedings relating to the cancellation of registration, by the registered person, the registration may be suspended for such period and such manner as may be prescribed. So when the cancellation application is submitted, it shall suspended. That's what's being said over here. We'll see the suspension provision separately. And there's a query over here, like for interaction purpose. In the proviso, only the cancellation filed by the registered person being mentioned over here. But in 29.1, if you see proper officer may either his own motion, it's not being mentioned over here in the proviso. Only the application filed by the registered person is being mentioned over here. So is it for any particular purpose or is it by default? Like I would like to take your opinion too. Or by default, the registration, what would be the reason like his own motion, its proper office, his own motion is not being mentioned over here in the proviso? Would there be any particular reason for that?
Well, I think that is kind of a drafting error.
All right, okay. So moving further, the corresponding rule is, Arupji, did you start to say anything?
No, yeah, I think once we read Rule 21, I think it will be more clear.
All right. The corresponding rule to 29.1 is rule number 20, that is application for cancellation. A registered person, other than the person to whom registration has been granted under Rule 12, that is Rule 12 is TDS and TCS, or a person to whom unique identity number has been granted, that is a specified persons, seeking cancellation, a registered person seeking cancellation of his registration under subsection, under section 29.1, that is amalgamation, demerger, constitution has been changed on the above cases that which we saw, shall electronically submit RAG 16. Here we can see that only the details are being specified over here, including there in the details of what inputs, capital goods, liability, the details of payment. So inputs and the liability minus input and the details of payment should be specified over here. That's being mentioned over here. If any made against such liability may furnish along with the application relevant documents in support thereof at the common portal within a period of 30 days from the occurrence of such event. So there was one proviso, one clause was over there. This has been omitted. There was a proviso that provided that no application for cancellation was allowed to be submitted by the registered person who have taken registration voluntarily before 1 year from the effective date of registration. So now the assessees who have taken the registration within 1 year also can apply for cancellation of the registration. So this has been omitted. So if we move on further, I can show you online the application to be submitted for the cancellation. In the GST portal, you have to take this registration, and we can see over here application for cancellation for registration. I already saved it. So this is RAG 16 action. And there are 3 tabs over here. As I said over here, here it's being specified as what details, okay? So basic details, that's the address, just the address is being mentioned over here. And when we go to move to the next tab, that is cancellation, we can see the drop downs over here. Change in constitution, we saw in 29.1. Cease to be a taxable person, okay? 29.1C, discontinuance of business, like amalgamation, merger. These are the situations. Death of a sole proprietor is also there. So these are situations where cancellation options other sales cease to be a taxable person. Over here, we can see tax payable on stock. Okay, so details of tax payable on stock, value of inputs, what's the value of the stock that which is lying in our godown, semi-finished, finished, and the capital goods. Over here, I don't understand why like capital goods and plant and machinery is given separately over here, because plant and machinery is already included in the capital goods. Would there be any specific reason for that? What do you all think? Can you share your opinion? Because in the rule also, I guess it has been given separately. It is given separately. Would there be any specific reason for that? Like, okay, so over here, input tax credit to be reversed or tax payable on the transaction value, whichever is higher should be disclosed over here. And this is a tax payable. And what are the details to be, how the tax has been remitted? Is it through cash ledger or through credit ledger? And I don't see a payment option over here. It would be purely the details, okay? Details how much tax you are liable to pay and how you are remitted through cash and electronic credit ledger. So there is no proceed or payment option over here. And in Rule 44.4, I can see in case of cancellation under Section 29, the taxes should be remitted through GSTR 10. That's what I can see. So here, what I understand is for disclosure purpose. Is my understanding is right? Anyway, we'll move forward with the relevant rules and sections. By that time, we'll understand further. So last is
goods, sir.
Ah,
Capital goods, I think maybe it is for finding out how much is the balance of input credit which is to be claimed. Because you have to claim it only based on so many quarters, isn't it? That capital
yeah,
goods.
yes. Actually,
So
yes. Okay.
5 quarters, and it is generally that 5 years time is also considered, no, for capital goods, ITC on capital goods. Maybe
Right,
for
sir,
that
right.
reason.
Right,
Yeah.
sir. Right, sir. There is, yeah. Okay, we'll discuss that rule when we come to that slide. Okay, sir. Okay.
Sir,
So,
and for all the options, these table doesn't come actually. So what option have you selected for this? The reason for cancellation, cease to be liable to tax. If you put change in, no, if you put
Okay.
transfer of business on account of amalgamation merger, these details are not asked.
You're right. You are right. Actually, I didn't select that option. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So details of transfer merger, GSTN of the transferee should be given over here. So, ma'am, what I understand is like this is only for disclosure purpose that which you're asking, because when we come to rule number 44, GST rules, rule number 44.4. You can see over here the amount determined under sub rule 1 or under section.
Yes, sir, you're right.
Yeah.
The payment and the assessment, everything is in the final return.
Yeah, final return. Yeah, yes. Okay, ma'am. So this is the application form, okay, available in the portal for that is RG 16. Okay, so we have seen that one right now. So what I understand is RG 16 is just for disclosure purpose of the tax liability. All the taxes should be paid through GSTR 10, that which comes subsequently after receiving the order of cancellation. Now let's see, in case of death of a proprietor, there are two scenarios. Scenario 1 is business continued by the legal heir. Then in that case, he'll have to take a new registration. He should transfer the ITC from the demised person registration number to his registration number. Cancellation of registration. After transfer, only cancellation should be done. Transfer of liability. Scenario 2 is business is closed by the legal heir. Cancellation of registration, payment of stock, filing of GSTR 10, the normal procedure. Over here, I have generated one TRN number. That is just a second. We'll try to log in with this TR number because to show the drop down, when the transferee of the business, that is the legal heir who is continuing the business, should take a new registration, should apply for a new registration. With this drop down, TR number 951, I'll just get OTP. So when the transferee applies for of the deceased person, when he applies for the registration, reason to obtain registration is there for the transferee. That is death of the proprietor. An option of death of the proprietor is there. So that's being specified in the circular. Okay, so this is how the option to be selected in that case. So the remaining points, let's discuss. This is circular number 96 part 15. Query: what shall be the situation if the transferee of successor is already having a registration? If he doesn't have a registration number, definitely we can apply for new registration under death of the proprietor. But what if he have a registration number? Should they take a separate registration number under the option as discussed above, or the existing registration number will suffice? I think existing will suffice. What do you all think? Can you all share your opinion?
So existing should be okay.
Okay. So next is section 18.3. Doubts have been raised, like whether, because death of the sole proprietor was not specifically mentioned in 18.3. So doubts were raised like 18.3, whether covers death of the sole proprietor. Yes. Which form should be used for transfer of ITC? As per 41.1, ITC 02 for transfer of unutilized credit shall be used. Section 29.1a. Section 29.1a states about death of the proprietor. In order to bring uniformity between section 18.3, that is like amalgamation, demerger, and all, merger 18.3, 22.3, where it says registration is mandatory in case of amalgamation, transfer, demerger, and all, like the transfer should obtain. And 85.1 and 41.1, it is clarified that transfer or change of ownership of business will include transfer or change of ownership of business due to death of sole proprietor. Death of the proprietor, and whether ITC of the electronic credit ledger of the demised proprietor can be transferred to electronic credit ledger of the transferee. If so, which form should be used? Yes, it can be transferred. ITC 02 shall be used to transfer the ITC. So let's see the ITC 02 online. Please give me, yeah, it's already open. Over here under the services tab, under the returns, give me a second. Under the services tab, returns, we have got ITC forms. So ITC forms are form used for to transfer from the transferor to the transferee. Here ITC 02 is the declaration of transfer of ITC in case of sale, merger, transfer of business under section 18 subsection 3, in which it includes a death of the sole proprietor also. So prepare online. We should give the transferee GSTA number, and here we have got ITC of like 1302, 1302. If we enter like 1302, 1302, this will be the amount to be transferred. And over here, what I understand is like 2 lakhs limit or ITC. So ACA certificate is required only for the ITC that is about 2 lakhs or something like that. Like it's not mentioned over here. In the rule, it's being specifically mentioned like CA certificate is required for transfer of ITC. Okay, so name of the firm, and we should upload the certificate attachment, and we just have to file with EVC. Okay, so the transferee should accept this. But I do not. Do you all know? Have you ever faced like a situation where a transferee is accepting, and do you all know which option should be used for that, where the transferee can accept? Because I can see the option for like the transfer of the ITC, and or it will automatically reflect in the credit ledger.
Will not automatically reflect in credit ledger. The transferee has to accept it.
Yeah. So which option should be like?
Try ITC forms.
ITC forms.
I don't remember exactly right now, but it becomes available in the dashboard of the recipient to accept it.
Yeah, definitely. He should
Just
accept
click
it.
on returns. Just click on returns dashboard, please.
Yeah, sure.
I don't exactly right away remember, but that option becomes available. It does become available.
Yeah, returns.
Can you click on returns dashboard, sir, please?
Yeah, returns. This is returns.
Within returns, there is returns dashboard on the left-hand side, top line, first line item.
Yeah, okay.
It will lead to GSTR1, etc. Yeah. No,
Sir,
I don't
it's
exactly
in-
remember, but I'll let you know. Yeah, and
All
it is
right.
there. It does become available.
Yeah, yes. Okay, all right.
Yes, sir. Sir, it's in user services. If you can scroll down.
Okay.
ITC
Okay, I see.
025.
You're pending for action. All right.
Yeah. This is the one. Yeah.
All right, all right. All right. We have got few queries in the chat box. Unikrishnan, if for transfer, you'll not be reversing ITC, you'll be using ITC 02 to transfer the balance. So you mean if for transfer, you'll not be reversing the ITC? Yeah, we'll not be reversing the ITC, we'll be transferring it. There could be one reason for difference in capital. Okay, that's already discussed. Why there is no time limit for ITC 02, whereas for ITC 02A, Unikrishnan have raised a query for ITC 02A, they have given 30 days time. You know, actually, is there any specific thing for that, like why they have put 30 days? Anyone have any suggestion? All right. So is there any certificate? Yeah, as per rule 41.2, there is no limit has been specified for a CEA certificate. Okay, it should be uploaded. Who shall be liable to pay the taxes in case of transfer? Actually, there will be 2 points, that is till the time of transfer and after the transfer of the entity. Liability to up to the transfer, it's specified in 85.1. The transfer and the transferee shall be jointly and severally be liable to pay any tax, interest, or any penalty due from the transferor in case of transfer of business. Query is it genuine to make the transferee liable for that? That was like a query that which it was when I was reading this section, whether it is liable, genuine to make the transferee liable, because section 85 says that transferee and transferor shall be jointly and severally liable. Or it's like giving more responsibility to the transferee to ensure that all the liabilities. Okay.
But in that example that you had taken, sir, when there was already an existing registration and you only did the transfer of ITC, I mean the registration number of the deceased person was never mentioned in the GSTN of the legal heir. So in that case, how does the department you think will enforce the liability?
Okay. Uh, in the example that which I showed to you, ITC02,
Yes.
because we'll be entering to the GST portal from the credentials of the deceased person.
Hmm.
Okay, because over there in the rule it's being specified the manner of transfer of the credit. You can see over here in the rule it's being specified. If we go to the over here, in the case of transfer of business account of death of the sole proprietor, the transferee or the successor. What I understand, the successor himself is the transferee in this case. Is my understanding is right? The successor himself is the transferee. Or transferee can be any other person other than the successor.
No, that is true. But when we are taking the registration at that time, if the registration number of the deceased person was mentioned, then it will be, we will be held liable for that registration. But merely by filing ITC 02, ITC 02 is filed for various other reasons as well, right? It is not only for on account of death of a deceased person. It may be that we had two registration and we wanted to transfer the ITC into one registration. And even in that scenario, ITC 02 is used. Is it not?
Right,
I
right,
think
definitely.
no. In that scenario, ITC 2A is used, right?
Oh, okay. Not two.
That 41A will come in.
41. Okay.
So for like other scenarios means sale, merger, demerger, ITC 02 is used, right?
No. I am
Yes,
talking
yes.
about multiple business registrations within the same entity.
All right, all right. In that case, ITC 02A is used. Okay. So in case of death, like the transferee shall himself file ITC 02 in respect of registration, which is required to be cancelled on account of the death of the proprietor. So form ITC 02 is required to be filed by the transferee himself before filing the application for cancellation of registration and acceptance of. We saw the acceptance option. Upon acceptance by the transferee, the unutilized ITC credit of ITC shall get reflected to the electronic credit ledger.
No, one technical query here because I haven't done it right actually. What happens if there are multiple successors and the business has to be given to both of them and both are separate persons? Or in the case of a demerger, can the ITC2 be used for splitting the credit ledger balance into two GST numbers?
Actually, what I understand is there is only option to give one GST number over there.
So how exactly will we give that balance which is eligible to be given to 50% to Mr. X and 50% to Mr. Y?
Over here, we can see like a GST number should be given of the transferee and the amount of matched ITC available, amount of matched ITC to be transferred. So if there are two assessees, then we can transfer, say like 651 to one assessee. Okay. So actually, after transferring this, I haven't done this one practically. So I think after doing this ITC would get reduced over here to 651. That's what I guess.
So you are saying you can use ITC2 more than once? That's
what I understand from this. Because nowhere it's being mentioned like it can be transferred, that's being mentioned. And it's nowhere being mentioned like it can only be used once. I didn't see that one in any of the rules. If anyone have dealt this one practically, can share your perspective.
I don't think you can transfer multiple times because you have to give a declaration, right? by the legal heir, stating that he's the person who's going to continue to the department. So that being the case, if there are multiple legal heirs, how do they, first thing, the department cannot adjudicate saying there are 4 heirs, so it has to be equally distributed and all that. So why would the department take that extra care or extra legal liability in distribution? So whoever admits, yeah.
Actually, but I have done it twice in case of merger. I have filed ITC 02 twice, and that has been accepted by the website also. I am not very much aware about this proprietor, debt of proprietor, but in general case, I have filed ITC 02 twice, and it has been accepted. There is no issue in filing ITC 02 twice. For one reason or other, there was some credit was not there at the first time when we have filed ITC 02. And again, we have filed ITC 02. And it has been accepted by the website also. And there is no issue up till now in that case. So I think multiple ITC, what you are saying is correct, that multiple ITC 02 can be filed.
So here after transferring 651, the balance will not lapse, is it? It will be lying there.
Yeah.
Once again, you have to apply with the new GST.
Yes. True.
All right. So next one is regarding Rule 41, transfer of credit on sale or demerger. In the event of sale, this is a corresponding rule for that. In the event of sale, demerger, amalgamation, unutilized ITC in the credit ledger can be transferred to the transferee using ITC 02. We already saw that form ITC 02. Provided in case of demerger, there is a proviso, shall be apportioned in the ratio of the value of assets of the new units as specified in the demerger scheme. So in the explanation, the value of assets, it's being mentioned like not only the assets for which the ITC has been claimed, it also includes the value of the assets for which ITC was not claimed. Okay, for the purpose of this subrule, it is hereby clarified that value of assets means the value of entire assets of the business, whether or not input tax credit has been availed thereon. So that's applicable only for the demerger part. And in subrule 2, the transfer or shall also submit a copy of certificate issued by the CA. Okay, I assume in case of death also CA certificate is essential, definitely, and there is no prescribed limit has been mentioned over there. Next, let's see section number 29.2, that is the cancellation by the proper officer. Here,
just 1 minute.
Yeah.
In your previous slide, you had mentioned when you can self-claim the credit through ITC 02. Just a slide before this.
Over here. Yeah.
So, how will the ITC appear when the transferor has not transferred it?
Sir, actually, the transferor is what I understand is like the transferor is no more. So this is the manner of transfer of credits being mentioned over here. In case of merger, demerger, and all, definitely we all know the transferor can transfer. But in case of transfer of business on account of death of a proprietor, I was also slightly confused. Then, like how I arrived at a conclusion is like in case of death, the transfer is no more, and in that case, the transfer or successor should file ITC 02 in respect of the registration, which is required to be cancelled on account of death of the sole proprietor. That's what I understand. Because in that case, the transferee himself only can transfer the ITC. That was what we were curious.
No, I always understood that once the death happens, the transferee will have to amend the registration particulars so that he becomes the authorized signatory. And that is what is being referred to here, that he himself is filing the ITC2 on behalf of the expired person.
Yes.
Right. So is there any application form online for that?
No, till now it is done manually. So we have already presented
It's the same form. Why should a separate form be required? There's no need for a separate form. No?
No,
Any
Guruji, sir,
authorized
basically,
signatory can file a form, any of the forms. So the successor becomes an authorized signatory. He is added as an authorized signatory
No.
to the registration of the deceased proprietor.
no, Guruji,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
that case, one problem that we are facing is then I have to use the OTP of the deceased proprietor. Or else I cannot do it. So in that case, we are facing the
Sir,
challenge
no,
later on that.
The OTP can also be changed. Officers can change this if you
So
approach the
for that, we have to go
officers.
physical. So that process we are requesting to have it online. That this process of authorized signatory changing his number can be made online. So then I think rest of the things can be taken care of, because many people are not aware of this. Many people do not hesitate to go to the department and get this. And they are going to the department, a lot of questions are being asked.
Yeah, that is a
Only
policy
process.
matter, but
Yeah.
the other
Otherwise, yeah,
things
once
come
you
is
have
that
the
officer has to verify that this is the same person concerned, etc., with their
yes,
ID,
yes,
etc.
yes.
No, all those things. So online may be a challenge. I don't know if policy decides. Yeah.
Yeah, and as Uniji was saying, that is the thing, that once the disease property is known, the legal heir changes the details of the authorized signatory, he becomes the authorized signatory, and then he files the ITC 02 from the registration of the disease proprietor. Then it comes to the registration of the legal heir wherever he starts doing business.
All right. So when it comes to the the cancellation by the proper officer, we should read it with the rule number, like rule number 21, because certain key situations are not being specified in the section. So we have to read with rule number 21. Section 29 to the proper officer may cancel the registration of a person from such date, including any retrospective data as he may deem fit. But there are certain situations mentioned over here up to clause E. I have summarized, I have combined section number 29.2 and rule 21 for easy reference. Yeah, this one, read with comparison. Okay, the registration grant to a person is liable to be cancelled. In section number 29.2a, the section content is a registered person has contravened such provisions of the act or rules made thereunder as the case may be prescribed. So we do not know what are the contravening provisions under which the registration shall be cancelled. So in the rule 21A speaks about, rule 21A speaks about if he does not conduct the business from the declared place of business. That's one of the contravention as per 29.2A being mentioned in the rule. 21B rule speaks about if invoice or bill without supply of the goods, then in that case the registration can be cancelled. 21C speaks where violates the provisions of 171, that's relating to the anti-profiteering provisions, registration can be cancelled. 21D speaks about violates the provisions of 10A, that is like, as we all know, if the bank accounts are not updated, it should be updated like within 30 days from the date of registration or before filing GSTR1, whichever is earlier. 21E speaks about avails input tax credit in violation of section 16. Like 21F, that's also another contravening provision as per the rules. If sales in GSTR1 is more than the sales as per GSTR 3B, the GSTR 1A has also been inserted in rule 21F. Few more other contravening portions are being mentioned corresponding to section 29.2A, 21G, that is violates the provisions of 86B. As we all know, only 99% of the input tax credit can be claimed. There are certain exceptional cases. If the SSC satisfies those situations, then 86B rule is not applicable. So 86B is like only 99% of the input tax credit can be claimed by the SSC. So that is 86B, like subject to certain conditions like turnover is greater than 15 lakhs or 50 lakhs per month. In that case, 86B will get attracted. 21GA that is violates the provisions of third or fourth proviso of Rule 23.1. Okay, 23.1 is relates to revocation of cancellation of registration. So if an assessee violates proviso, third proviso and fourth proviso of Rule 23.1. Now let's see what is third proviso and fourth proviso. Third proviso means that all return due from the period from the date of order of cancellation till the date of order of revocation of cancellation of registration shall be furnished by the said person within a period of 30 days from the date of order of revocation of cancellation. If he doesn't satisfy that situation, then the registration shall be cancelled. And the fourth proviso is that provided also that where the registration has been cancelled with retrospective effect, the registered person shall furnish all the returns relating to the period from the effective date of cancellation till the date of order of cancellation within a period of 30 days from the date of order of revocation of cancellation of registration. So these are the situations that which are specified in Rule 21, Rule 21 to align with 29.2a. Okay, moving further. Next is 29.2b. In that corresponding rule is not there, okay, nothing has been specifically mentioned because in 29.2b itself, it's being specifically mentioned in relation to composition dealer. If they doesn't file the return beyond 3 months, after March 31st, they should file. Now it was 31st May. Now it's 30th June. Okay, so April, May, June. If they doesn't file the returns with beyond 3 months, then the registration shall be cancelled. No corresponding rule is there for that. Because in section itself, it's being specified clearly given. 29.2c's, it's related to the returns other than the composition dealer, that is the normal return, GSTR1 and the QRMP scheme. Any registered person other than the persons specified in clause B, that is composition, has not furnished returns for such continuous tax period as may be prescribed. This is being prescribed in the rule, that is 21H and 21I. 21H, being a registered person required to file return under 39.1 for each month or part thereof, has not furnished the return for a continuous period of 6 months, the registration shall be cancelled. 21I, that is QRMP, being a registered person required to file return 39.1 for each quarter or part thereof, has not furnished the return for a continuous period of 2 tax period. And there are 2 more clauses. 29.2d, any person who has taken voluntary registration of section 25.3 has not commenced the business within 6 months. There is no corresponding rule for that. It's been clearly specified in the section. It's not like as prescribed or something, like it's clearly given. So there is no corresponding rule. And point number 5, that is clause E. Registration has been obtained by means of what? Fraud, willful misstatement or suppression. There is no corresponding rule for that. And yesterday, Unikrishnan sir, he was sharing a point like 73, 74, and 29 subsection 2 clause E. Am I right, Unikrishnan sir? Could you please share your view on this?
Wherever, let us say, the proper officer feels that the ITC under section 16 deserves to be demanded under 74, does it mean that the violation of section 16 as per Rule 21 automatically applies, and he should also issue a REG 17 as to why the number should not be cancelled?
Can I know the opinion of the group members, please?
No, Unni sir, you were a little fast. Sorry, can you repeat that?
Let us say that the ingredients of suppression, willful misstatement or fraud has been unearthed in audit or by the proper officer. And that is the reason why which they are going to demand the ineligible ITC which has been availed in contravention of section 16. So when they are already alleging fraud and adjudicating fraud for the availment of ITC in violation of section 16, does he have any discretion not to issue a show cause notice under REG 17 under 21E?
Only Krishna, just 2 points from my side. One is 74 is applicable to any person, so he can be registered or unregistered. And
Fine.
second point is the criteria what has been specified in Rule 21 is only for the reason to do the cancellation, and it is not the
Correct.
reason for the adjudication. So I think this is what my view on that point is.
No, let us say you have adjudicated that there 16 has been violated with intentionally by the registered person. Then post adjudication, where is the discretion coming from that he should not issue a show cause notice under REG 17? I understand that 29.2 says that PO may cancel the registration. It is
Yeah,
not shared.
yeah.
But where does the proper officer who has already adjudicated that he has done fraud to avail ITC choose not to issue a cancellation of a cancellation notice? Shouldn't it be defended parallelly?
Okay. So one more point here. Can they do the dual proceeding for the same issue? Because they have decided to adjudicate under 74 based on that suppression. Can they simultaneously issue the notice for that cancellation? Because there is a separate section for that, no? 63 section is there for that.
No,
So can't we
63 is
read
for
that?
post cancellation, but the process of cancellation requires a notice, right?
Okay.
The word use is may cancel, right? This is what you're saying.
Yes, it is may cancel, but once he has adjudicated that there is ground for suppression and fraud, through which he has violated section 16, does that give enough discretion not to issue a show cause notice and keep it as a parallel proceeding? Because when you are saying that you have availed ITC under section 16 with fraud, but only for the purpose of demand, I will say it is fraud, but I won't deny you your registration under Rule 21.
Maybe that's because the output tax is, has to be paid correctly, and the output liability is not being questioned. It is only the input tax credit that is being questioned, and therefore there's no need for any cancellation. They should only be denied the input tax credit.
Fine. Then why Rule 21 has a provision that if you violate section 16 in itself has to be violated for cancellation? If we are talking about fake ITC, they could have restricted to 16(2)(b). Why not the entire provision of 16 as such?
What I understand is this is a discretionary section where officer, but in the general, all the cases, the officer will issue the cancellation notice, right, sir?
No. We are not getting cancellation notices, but in certain scenarios, officers are using this as a bargaining tool. If you don't do this, I can also make your life living hell by I'll also issue a show cause for cancellation.
So it's possible, looks like the wordings just say that availing ITC in violation of provision of section 16. But you are mentioning only in case of fraud cases, but even in non-fraud cases also they can do this, right?
They can do this, but yeah, generally, then you can say that the theory of proportionality can come in, and registration is a step too far administratively. Cancellation of the registration, that is. But if you are adjudicating under 74, then that proportionality test may not survive because you are already assuming that there is cause for mens rea.
Okay.
So, Mr. If we say that can he initiate cancellation, so the answer would be yes, he can if he so wishes. But if you raise the question, should he mandatorily initiate cancellation? So the answer would be no.
Yeah.
Now, yes, I agree that that may gives freedom, but then what are the tests or what is the guide benchmark or what are the guidance note that the officers has to take while determining the quantum, the criteria or the type of taxpayers against which you have to do both?
It is for all the reasons which are here mentioned for cancellation. Say if someone has not filed return for 6 months, maybe someone has not filed returns for 9 months. It is not that immediately after 6 months, yeah, now system generated notices are coming. canceling it, but we can take any of the situations. Bank account not added, okay, system generated notice may come, but if it is not added, it may not be added for 1 year.
No,
Officer
sir.
may
I am
or
not
may
talking about the
initiate
other
cancellation.
subclauses of 29.2.
I'm
I am
saying
only
that
looking
for
at
all the other subclauses, for every subclause, sir, it is the discretion of the officers.
Unikrishnan, sir,
um,
what I understand is like officer takes such a decision and is taking as a bargaining tool. If everything is proper from your side, I think you should approach court.
It depends. Courts are not extremely willing to listen to all these queries in the writ stage.
Because I read few case laws like where in the shock cause notice specific situations were not mentioned. They have just mentioned you have not like due to violation of section 16. They didn't specifically mention certain situation like why, what is the reason, like you have taken excess so and so. In that case, the SSC approached the court and court said, no, in the shock cause notice you have to specifically mention. You can like blatantly say this is a thing you should specifically mention, and it was in favor of the SSC. I just like maybe this is an exceptional case where you can I don't know, like that's my opinion.
Probably, I think the intention was that 16.2b was the main idea behind inserting that provision in Rule 21. But instead of 16.2b restricting it to it, they just said 16. Whereas 16.2b is probably the major chunk of the cancellations under 21.
So can I add one point?
Sure.
So regarding, so these type of the cancellation process would be taken by the department normally in the case of the fake drive initiative. So in the case of the fake drive, if they found something who is in the fake type of the invoicing, etc., then they will directly take the power of this section and cancel the registration.
Correct.
And that could be the reason why they have not restricted to the clause B.
Okay.
And one more point regarding this, can they do both at the same time? Normally, I can give the reference of one circular. This is not in this reference only, sir, but that was something different. See, for example, if SOP for the return filing, if you do not file the return, then
yeah,
the
63 plus
29.2.
62 plus 29.2, sorry.
Yeah. Then they're saying that parallelly, Circular 129 was saying that parallelly, the process of initiation of cancellation of registration would also be started. So yes, answer would be yes. They can start both, but normally they are taking in the fake drive initiative, which I have observed. Thanks.
No, that is a problem, sir. Now, in many cases, we have information coming from other states that person X is fake. And based on that, based on Circular 177, that three scenario, A, B, and C, we will be put into category B and say that you have C and say that you have availed that fake ITC. So 74 is applicable against you. So you can either pay under 74.5 and close right now, or I will not only issue a 74 notice to you, but also issue a cancellation notice to you, so that for this single invoice, your entire business will be stuck.
Got your point. The problem, I got your understand, and so they can take the tool.
It's a big bargaining chip. That is what's happening right now on the field.
Okay.
Okay.
Pune,
yes.
I have a question. Now, consider if this being a threatening thing. Look at a good running business. And they have, there were some contraventions. Now, if the registration is cancelled, the impact of that is going to be very serious.
Yes.
So, I definitely think that, okay, there should be good judgments should be quoted whenever something like this is invoked. Whole of businesses is like, it goes into a big toss. Like overnight registration cancelled, so I am stopped doing the business.
Correct.
It is very serious beyond our imagination. So I think we have to look at good case laws around this, and anything that happens, defending the case is most important. Is like like how we reply to the case. Like this reply should be even more serious.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I just want to say a point, that's it.
I'm just thinking my imagination. This comes out of my imagination. See, even assuming if they want to cancel, right, they have to follow the process, no? Like issue some proceedings will start, then only the final order can be passed. So how will they, just because they have contravened some of the provisions under section 74, can they simply pass the order of cancellation?
No, they will do both, ma'am. They are issuing 74 notices as well as cancellation proposals.
Proceedings are they initiating, or order itself are they passing?
No. They will issue show cause, give us reply time, but the end result will be cancellation if we don't
So they
go
are
with
giving some
what
time
Problem
frame,
starts
right?
with suspension, no? The
So
registration
it's
gets
only a
suspended
threat
also.
mechanism.
That is
They
the
are
problem.
not concluding, right? They are not concluding. So you have got enough time to prove under section 74, come out of it, and then regularize your GST registration.
Ma'am, I fully understand what you're saying, but thing is, when you are cancelling or suspending the registration, the impact on the business is quite very huge. Your day-to-day transactions will be affected quite badly.
Madam, also for a moment, consider there is an element of 74. Like out of 10 transactions, one transaction I have entered where it didn't materialize, and I went ahead and taken the credit.
Okay.
I agree, I have taken the credit. I'm willing to pay penalty.
So what happens? Like, even if they are suspending, still you can, reverse the ITC or whatever, pay the taxes and regularize, right? They have not passed an order for cancellation, no?
Effectively, technically for our survival, we'll be forced to fight it, not fight it out and close under 74.5. If we want to fight it out, we run the risk of cancellation and running our business at significant problems, as well as defending a 74 order, which might take some time.
Why?
If any of you have such real case, no, they can share.
No. This is not unique, ma'am. This is happening across multiple states. Like I know in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, this is happening. You will get an intelligence from Delhi DGGA that this is a part of a cartel. And these kind of invoices, if it is there in your 2, it is presumed that this is availed by you. And this is knowingly availed by you. And they'll propose both.
In Tamil Nadu, for sure, because I have 2 cases with me.
Why are you standing?
They are also doing it for Rule 86B.
Oh, I haven't yet got that yet.
Now, I have in Delhi more than couple of notices cancellation for non-compliance of 86B, and they're forcing us to pay in cash ledger and give the undertaking that we'll be utilizing it in 3B, even if 86B is not applicable.
Acha. Even if 86B is not applicable, then also?
Nah, sir. The directors, they have their personal ITRs with more than 1 lakh.
Returns. Yeah, more than 1 lakh.
But they say we have a target to meet and you have to deposit in cash ledger and give us undertaking.
Okay, so we are back to the VAT days.
Yeah. They say we don't have any provision. We don't have any provision in the GST for advanced tax. So we have to go to these measures.
Right.
Only sir, just one point. Unless and until an order is confirmed under 74, they cannot insist on cancellation, right? Because nothing is proved at just by show cause notice level.
They are issuing show cause notices, ma'am. But thing is, effectively, even though it is not proved, we know where it is going to. Just like the 86B story, we know that unless we proceed and close it under 74.5, we will have to fight it out otherwise with the cancellation REG 19 also.
Yeah, there is a big risk.
And other major challenge is they are suspending the registration. No, that is a major challenge.
Yes. And another thing is, even if we call for the records of the other officer or the person whose statement was relied upon, even though that is all there in law, you won't get it in adjudication.
Yeah, that is something I wanted to share, that in all these cases of fake, they are saying that the person is non-existent, non-NGTP and all those things, we should seek for the inspection report. Because when we are going to the high courts, that is what the courts are asking, is that at the adjudication level, did you seek the inspection report? So if you have not sorted at the adjudication level, at the appeal level, why are you seeking it now? So I think that is one thing which is very important. But major challenge we are facing is regarding proving of receipt of goods. I think that is one area which is the major challenge. They have everything. They have the invoice, they have the bank statement, they have the ledgers, they have the utility of the goods, they have onward sale also. But the fact that the good was received, transport documentation, so that is lacking. So that is becoming a huge challenge.
No, that if you remember, there was this massive drive in 2023 August, that All India
Yes.
fake drive. Now the fallout of that is happening now. The 18-19
Yes,
cases,
yes.
all cases 74 is happening now.
So I think with this we'll have to go to Venuji. Venuji, it's 10:01.
Yeah, I was about to say it's 10:01.
Actually, I would like to share one more point regarding. Can I just 1 minute?
Okay, let's do just 1 minute.
Yeah,
Yeah, all
2
right.
minutes,
Like
please.
for section 29.5 and 29.6, the amount should be ITC should be reversed, so tax should be paid. There is a major difference over here in Rule 44 that is relating to the cancellation. In this rule, it is in Rule 43. It's for the capital goods reversal in Rule 43. It's 5% per quarter. It is 5% per quarter, but in Rule 44, it's not percentage per quarter. It is months. It is months. Okay, so that's a difference to be noted. In Rule 44, it is months, and in Rule 43, it is 5% per quarter. Okay. I hope it is clear.
Yes.
All right, and 29.3 and 24 simply speaks about cancellation shall not affect the liabilities. Liability should be remitted. And 29.4, it's regarding cancellation under one act. It's like done in other acts too. That's it. And the uncovered areas regarding GSTR 10 should be filed within 3 months from the date of cancellation or order of cancellation, whichever is earlier. This is mandatory. And one of our team member had raised GSTR 10 he couldn't file for composition taxable person, and it should be filed for GSTR 10, and I do not know why system is not accepting the application. And the uncovered area is suspension during the session. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And it is like for certain in our SMS sessions, even if we are taking one section and one rule, the chance of it being completing in one session is definitely not there. There are so many things we unearth, we learn as a part of this, and the special thanks to the resource persons who are patiently taking up the points, questions, and everything. And what makes the SMS beautiful is all the intellects questioning the basic provisions. With this, I would again make a request that every week put it in your calendar, and whenever you meet other faculty member, you tell them that please be part of SMS, both as a participant and also take one chapter. Thank you so much, Anthony sir, and everyone. We will meet in the next SMS. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.